the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap-ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu. And I'm that spitter, baby, they don't want you to see, but everybody's out to Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and ponder getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah,
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
X-ray season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it
I hate
for
these
us.
average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my own flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on to the hearse. Party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete. I'm a verbal athlete, deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building. My whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
I just want to live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.
Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday to all of you out there, or what I like to say, Friday Eve. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday, and we got a great lineup for you as always. You guys know me and my guy, Big O, are going to bring you the news that you can use. What up, Big O?
Trey Holiday.
Hey, what's going on?
Happy Thursday to you.
Yeah, happy Thursday, my friend. Happy to be here as always.
Yeah, this is going to be a big news day here in Seattle. Let me get into, well, actually, let me just let everybody know right now. We're going to go live at 2 p.m. today, 2 p.m. The Office of Police Accountability is supposed to release the Insurrection Report at 2 p.m. So I'm going to be joined by Kevin Schofield. And, man, we're going to talk about it. Report's supposed to come out at 2 o'clock. The OPA investigation to the Seattle police officers that went to Washington, D.C. And, yeah, so it's big news day here in Seattle. Sure. Want to welcome everybody to the Morning Update Show and remind you that right now is the perfect time for you to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and tag and share the stream with people who you feel would appreciate culturally relevant news and information emanating from right here in the Emerald City. Want to give a big shout out to our partners over at the South Seattle Emerald and also KBCS 91.3 out there at Bellevue College. Remind everybody that you can listen to the Morning Update Show anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcasts. We've got the link right there for SoundCloud. Oh, look at SoundCloud next to me. But also Google, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere that you listen to your podcast, you can pick it up right there. You know, we're going with no excuses next week, so we're almost out of these limited edition prize shirts. We've got black, white. I think we might still have a few pinks left. A great way to support black-owned independent media while looking fresh and showing your pride is to go to whereweconverge.com/shop. You know what I'm saying? And get fresh. And like I said, the No Excuses campaign starts next week. And it's no excuses. That works in a lot of different categories. COVID-19, we put the link there in the comments. Always remind that the COVID-19 vaccine is free. It is free and it's available here in King County. You can click on the link right there. If you want to get a vaccine, oftentimes you can get all three: Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson. There's no charge to you. Follow up right there on the website. What else do I got over here? Oh, this is a big thing right here, Trey. Tonight at 6 o'clock is Build the Beach.
Yes.
For us, by us, a community meeting. Come on, guys. You want to be part of this $160 million construction project out there for the renovation of Rainier Beach High School. We want black construction workers and people in that ecosystem get involved. And also there's apprenticeships. And, man, there's people in the community. I'm going to let you tell them because you're rooted in community. Tell these people they need to get on this tonight.
Well, you're absolutely right. Oh, I mean, we've been talking about it since we were down there at Rainier Beach, and it's just a great opportunity for folks to get engaged and get involved. And the thing is that there's pathways. If you're trying to figure out if construction field is for you and understand some of the opportunities that are out there, if you're a small construction firm, if you work on engineering with lighting or electrical, or, you know, you have a somebody that does cement. I mean, they need so many different things out there. And so you guys, it is a big opportunity for so many of our community members to be involved. Man, get engaged tonight at 6.
Yeah, man, be there. Really want to challenge the community, man. Step up, share that link with people, you know, who could really benefit from taking part in that conversation. Reminder that today, you know, today's a little warm in here in the studio. I don't know why. It's cool outside. Every time it's cool outside, it's warm in here. But tomorrow, we're at the waterfront.
The Morning Update Show is heading back out on the road, and this time we're docking at Pier 62 as we broadcast live from the Seattle waterfront. Come out and join us this Friday at 11 a.m. from Pier 62 as we check in with waterfront businesses and check out all the many free family-friendly activities occurring all summer long. That's this Friday, July 9th at 11 a.m. at Pier 62. See you there.
Yeah, so tomorrow, 11 a.m., we're at the waterfront. It's going down.
It definitely is, and I'm excited to be out there, you know, and also to pick up this amazing opportunity for folks to come down on Saturday. So I can't wait, to really just showcase how lively the waterfront's going to continue to be out there.
Yeah, I see Ike Everhart's getting, they're like, man, the links are on point this morning. You know what I'm saying? That's Ike Everhart this morning, who's managing the links. He's dropping them in on time over there. Yeah, this is I'm really looking forward for tomorrow, one, to be back outside, but then also a reminder that Saturday, so tomorrow's kind of big, right? So the Morning Update Show from 11 to 12, and then from 4:30 to 7:30 is something I think that is called like Food Trucks and Beats. But DJ Supreme LaRock is going to be out there at the waterfront tomorrow between 4:30 and 7:30. And then Saturday is a waterfront block party from 4 to 7, and our own Besa Gordon and G. Prez Aspie will be hosting out there. Are you going to make it to the block party?
You know I'm going to make it to the block party, man. I'm trying to partay, man, as much as possible this summer. There's a lot of great opportunities, man, and I love being with community, so I'm excited for it.
Yeah, you're going to be out there. Got your drink and your two-step, your drink and your two-step.
Well, I told you me and Omari going to be showing our old school moves, man.
That's you. I tell you, as a big fella, man, my two-step game ain't never going to get on.
There
you know
we
what I'm saying?
go.
I be on. Let's stay together.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
Hey, man, real deal. Really excited today. You know, author Cindi Bright is going to be here. And, you know, and talking to Cindi, that's just one thing, because we're talking about she's written a book, so, of course, it's the author hat. But, man, also a host of Heartbeat Radio over there at our partner, Rainier Avenue Radio, motivational speaker, coach. Like, man, you know, she does it all. And she's going to be talking about her book, and we got to make sure, because she's selling this book, we got to get it on point every time. The Color of Courage, Crushing Racism in Corporate America. Yeah. Cindi, man, she used to be in HR, and basically she's written a book telling us how we be excluded, you know, in those HR meetings, and it's given a lot of game about how to navigate around that.
Yeah, I'm really excited, man, because I think so much of what the Black experience is oftentimes in corporate America is a bit of tokenism. So I can't wait to dive into Cindi's book and also all the other hats that Cindi wears. I mean, I'm just going to tell you right now, y'all get ready for this Black woman magic coming up.
That Black woman magic is,
you know it.
It's going. Hey, I'll be honest with you, Cindi keep it real too. You know what I'm saying? She very well might be one of the questions you should ask in your interview. Am I your token employee? All right, so we got a few headlines, man. A lot of them are light, and it's kind of good news here today, because we're going to have a heavy day this afternoon talking about this, the police OPA report. But you know what, Bulldog?
What up, Bulldog?
Man, a bulldog is getting ready to have a street named after him in the South End. Let's go ahead and put this up right now. There we go. Seattle Street could soon bear name of longtime jazz educator and musician. And you know, I'm talking about Mr. Clarence A. Cox. This is from knkx.org, written by Rebecca May. And basically, between 21st and 22nd on South Hill Street between 21st and 22nd, Clarence A. Cox Jr. Way. And that's going to be the home of their nonprofit Jazz Ed, which was founded 11 years ago. And, you know, Mr. Acox was a staple there at Garfield for 40 years, retired in 2019. And, I mean, the level of excellence in music and education, I think, will be, you know, Mr. Acox's enduring legacy.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. When you're talking about somebody like Mr. Acox, the truth of the matter is that, you know, you're not going to find too many Bulldogs who don't know Mr. Acox, even if they weren't in jazz. And that really is the impact that he had on the entire school community at Garfield High. And to be honest, you know, I was third chair clarinet, but I never got to tap in with Mr. Acox. So I'm just saying, you know, it was his presence was felt wide and far, man.
Yeah, I bet I played the trumpet in middle school, and I thought that I was good until you see that Garfield band and jazz band. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna stick to football. You know, so big shout out there to Mr. Acox. This cleared a committee and city council, and the next step is for the city council full vote on Monday. I don't anticipate anybody voting against this move.
Yeah. This should be an easy one for them. They got other rough things to deal with, man.
Yeah, this
one
is the
slide
easy
in.
win for you, city council. A very easy win. You know what I'm saying? Man, so next up here, you know, we're always talking about the train and getting out here on the train, especially now, COVID, everything's kind of relaxing. Man, they're getting ready to invest new rail cars in the works for Washington State Amtrak trains. This is great. It said that some of these new rail cars will have USB ports, Wi-Fi, brighter lighting, touchless restrooms, a ballin' business class, some of everything else. It's still a few years away, 2024, before they be delivered. And of course, you know, they're trying to secure the funding. But man, but the train is such a great experience, especially even like if you're just going to Portland or even over to Spokane, but especially down to Portland, nice ride down there and everything else. So it's good to see that hopefully here, if the budget gets approved, we'll get some brand new rail cars.
Yeah, you know what? We keep on doing these amazing stories on the train. We may have to take the morning update show to the train. I'm just saying.
We might have to get on the train.
You know, we talk about it all the time, and both Omari and I have such great fond childhood memories of riding Amtrak and what it really meant to our family. You know, we couldn't always get on planes, right? It was like, hold on, that's a whole nother thing. But let's go see what's up with the train. It was always affordable, and it allowed for my grandmother, who would be like trying to scrounge that money together to say, you know what, come on, grandkids, and she'd take all of us, man. You know what I mean? It was an experience.
Something about a train that's magic.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It's like when we be vibing, our vibe is so real. I appreciate you, Trey Holiday.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I mean, I think intentionally putting a lot of those burdens down that we've carried for the last year on air and being intentional about putting them down and lifting those burdens off our shoulders makes it a much better show.
Every single time. And really, you know, the truth of the matter is that I promise you guys, you've heard Omari say it before, man, I didn't want to be on camera, man. I be dragging him to be on camera with me because I'm like, come on, our vibe, our energy, man. I can't do this with nobody else. It's true.
If it wasn't for you, Trey Holiday, I definitely wouldn't be on this show because I really, this camera here is the last place that you'll find me, to be honest with you. So it's you. You keep me here. Man, something else, you know, it's just good. Concerts are coming back. And Capitol Hill Block Party producers announced a new music festival set for Labor Day weekend at the Seattle Center. And, you know, this is the Capitol Hill Block Party, guys. It's not going to happen up there at Capitol Hill. This is a new event. It's called the Day In, Day Out Festival. And that was the Capitol Hill Seattle blog by Justin Carter right there. And this is going to happen at the Seattle Center. And it's September 4th and 5th. And some artists that we know, and a lot of these artists, at least some of them, have been on Bass's show, either the Rewind or over in Cube 93. Paris Alexa, Travis Thompson, Big Wild, Chong the Nomad. Travis Thompson was just here, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so music festival out there. Everybody remembers the Capitol Hill Block Party. It should be cracking and be down to Seattle Center. It's called the Day In, Day Out Music Festival.
You know, I just love being able to see our spaces get vibrant again. I think as, you know, we're doing so well with folks getting vaccinated and folks being more comfortable coming out. It's a beautiful thing to see and witness. And, you know, I love some of those artists that you just named. So, again, it's another opportunity to, man, to get out and enjoy our city, man. I just remember when Seattle Center used to be so vibrant, man. Every single year and every season there was something going on down there.
And you also remember Seattle, I won't deviate, but I remember when Seattle was really a kid's place and a kid's city, you know what I'm saying, and really a place for young people and everything else. And so, yeah, it's good to see these happen. This last story right here, this is something that our very own Jake Gravbrot is probably so excited about. This is live music returns to South End venues. And, man, you can find this here in the South Seattle Emerald. And this was written by Mark Van Strefkirk. And basically, COVID is lifting, and so a lot of venues are opening back up, and those include, of course, Rumba Notes. So we know Rumba Notes. Look, you over there rumbling yourself.
Come on now. Hey, if you don't know about Rumba Notes, man, I just got to say, Sisters Rock the Arts would be rocking Rumba Notes every Thursday night. It was like a reunion going up in there every time I did. And honestly, some amazing talent on that open mic.
All right. So Rumba Notes, the Royal Room, and, of course, Jake Gravbrot's favorite, the Clock Out Lounge.
There we go. Hey, we've heard many stories from Jake about the Clock Out Lounge. I'm excited, man, because, again, I think that this just shows the vibrancy of the city. And so many of us have been looking for opportunities to get out. Now that people are getting safe again, you know, COVID restrictions are starting to lift. This is a beautiful thing to be able to celebrate on this Friday Eve, man. I got to tell you.
No, it's good stuff. It looks like we're early today, which is great. So I can put in this segment when we get back. We talked about it yesterday with Master P and his son going to HBCU, signing a $2 million contract. We'll circle right back to it. You are watching the Morning Update Show.
Hey, everybody. We all know that COVID-19 has had a major impact on everything this year, even energy bills. Puget Sound Energy understands the ongoing struggle that's facing its customers. And this is why they're offering a COVID bill assistance program of up to $2,500 per qualified customer. If you or anyone you know are currently behind on energy bills, please contact PSC today to discuss all of the assistance options available. Visit psc.com/COVID to learn more.
Hey guys, it's Besa Gordon from Converge Media. You can catch me on my show Rewind with Besa, which airs every other Saturday at 2 p.m. anywhere you watch Converge Media. Now, I know a lot of us still have questions about the COVID-19 vaccine. However, here are a couple things you don't have to question. Everyone 12 years and older in Washington state are now eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine. It's free and you don't even need insurance or citizenship status to get vaccinated. If you still have questions, and I know you probably do, you can visit kingcounty.gov/COVID for additional information. You can also call the King County COVID-19 call center at 206-477-3977 to get COVID-19 and the vaccination questions answered, get translation services if needed, set up an in-home vaccination appointment for yourself or someone you know may not be comfortable at a vaccination site due to a disability, anxiety, or other reasons. Look, with summer being here, now is the time to get all your COVID-19 vaccination questions answered so we can all get out the house and live our best lives again.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. My name is Omari Salisbury. I'm, of course, joined by Trey Holiday. So a conversation that we were having yesterday when Nicole Hannah-Jones turned down this tenure over there at University of North Carolina and was like, yeah, no, I'm going to Howard. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, it was kind of refreshing to hear her say, like, you know what? I'm tired of trying to prove myself in white spaces. Man, we're kind of obligated to go back to these HBCUs. And I mentioned yesterday that there's a great migration in reverse right now of people who they're seeing the value. You see, one thing that we talk about is, you know, the decline in values a lot in our community, right? And, you know, I mean, there is a certain set of values that are instilled in you, you know, and a lot of these HBCUs. And, man, like I said, we're seeing it in reverse. That now people are like, you know what? My kids having that black experience before they go into the world, being somewhere where everybody there on campus believes in your potential, loves that you're there. You know, it's great the way that you look. They're not touching your hair. You know what I'm saying? All these little things. To be and prosper in that environment from leaving high school to, you know, to a young adult, man, that's a real important time of your life. It's important to be reinforced around people that love you, you know, and I talked about Deion Sanders now. He's the head coach down there at Jackson State University, and you see like all this buzz that's coming around. That's a lot of former NFL guys that are now coaching over there at in schools, especially in the SWAC. And Master P's son, Hershey, was one of the top basketball recruits in the country, and they went to Tennessee State. They signed at Tennessee State University. I wanted to play this clip right here because it just became legal for student athletes to actually make money off of their likeness. Master P's son, the same day, Hershey's at black school now. Hershey, the same day it became legal, he signed a $2 million contract.
Today's an interesting day. It's the first day that college athletes can capitalize off their name, image, and likeness. Yeah. And bro, you guys already secured the bag, $2.5 million.
Yeah, well, $2 million. $2 million. The other deal didn't go through, but it was a $2 million deal, and it's incredible. This is going to change the way college athletes want to stay in school. So this is a 4-year deal, but I'm proud of my son going to HBCU.
Oh yeah.
And this is like playing in the pros now.
Right. I mean, because look, today's official. Like, you could sign the paper today, right? Did you guys do it?
I signed a deal with American App Technology Company. So, like my dad said, that's a blessing. Signed a deal between Athlete Wallet with Donald Hogan and Jabari Morgan. Yeah. Like I said, it's a blessing, you know.
How does it feel to be a millionaire?
It feels good. It feels
That's
good.
crazy.
Yeah. This is 19 years old.
This is crazy.
But you know what? He works so hard.
Yeah.
This is a blessing, and they say when you do right, blessings will keep coming to you. He's been doing right. He's an A student, and that's why this company did this, because they wanted to deal with a student athlete from an HBCU, and when they researched him, he was the top athlete when you pull up HBCU.
Wow, I'm so impressed impressed by this story. And, you know, I got a student athlete, not college yet, but he is so aspiring for it. And the truth of the matter is that, you know, it's on us to really start showcasing to our kids and to our youth how important it is to be in environments like Omari was describing earlier. You know, it is important that you have your grades up, that it's not just about your basketball stats. Clearly, this company may not have been looking at him as a top athlete had he not, but he had all of his ducats in a row. He's been doing what he had to do, and it really showcases that. And also, you know what? Yes, it's important that we start taking our talent, taking our brains, not just student athletes, but our brains to these HBCUs, that it's not for us to always have to identify ourselves with whatever it seems like non-Black culture is. When I was at Howard, and I know you experienced this at Elizabeth City, but being there, it was like you're amongst people that really have shared lived experience as you. So many commonalities take shape and take form. When you're talking about, as a girl for me, playing double dutch, you know, with my cousins, I mean, so many of the girls in my dorm had similar experiences. When we're talking about sharing dances and culture and how we want to wear our hair, doing each other's hair, there was just so many things that really come outside of just learning and the education, the academic environment, which was also very challenging for me at Howard. It was a beautiful thing to be around people that I didn't have to explain myself with. You know, they got it off the gate because it was part of what they lived with.
I mean, and that's important. And when we think about when we send our kids out into the world, I mean, a lot of times as parents, we're able to prepare them, right? And, you know, but sometimes, and what I would encourage is that, man, that Black college experience is something that's so amazing. The HBCU experience is so amazing because, you know, people want to be there, you know, and it's intentional. And, you know, I mean, some of the best mentors I had there wasn't necessarily the professors. It was like the lunch lady, Mr. Bruce Boyd, who was in our dorm, you know, saying who managed our dorm, Butler Hall. You know, I'd have these conversations with them. You know, it was just everyday people there who were part of the university ecosystem. And speaking of that, though, I'll throw this in here real quick. Parents out there, if you have a high school senior that's going into senior year, don't forget about the Seattle Promise Program. And the Seattle Promise Program, that's out of Deal, Director Chappelle, the Department of Early Education Learning. Seattle Promise, if you graduate from any of the Seattle public high schools, you can go to 2 years for free at any of the Seattle colleges. But the thing is, they got an HBCU transfer program. And so you can transfer to HBCU, they'll pay you know, there's all kinds, so you're not paying out-of-state tuition, all kinds of great stuff like that. So it's, you know, fantastic opportunity. So you guys look up Seattle Promise if you have a high school senior coming up this year.
And learn about it now. I mean, even if you, like my son right now is a freshman, he's going to be a sophomore in the upcoming school year. And we've been talking about this, you know, right? Like, hey, what are all of the options for you? And let's explore them. I think HBCU should be at the top of all of our minds in the Black community, for sure.
All right, we got a handcrafted motion graphic right here. There it is. Cindi Bright, author. Look at that. That's a great photo right there, huh? Cindi Bright is getting ready to come up next, and like I said, I want to nail this every time, so people can go and buy this book, The Color of Courage: Crushing Racism in Corporate America. When we come back, Trey will be with Cindi. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap-ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media. Welcome, everybody, back to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday, and I'm excited to dive in with Miss Cindi Bright, doing so many amazing things. Author, coach, motivational speaker, radio host. I mean, it's so great to have you on the Morning Update Show with us today.
Thank you, Trey. Thanks for having me here. I am used to being the person doing the interview, so this is an honor to get to sit with you and do this.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's important. I mean, we talk about what so many of our Black community members face oftentimes, and you have brought your experience into a book as the author of Color of Courage, Crushing Racism in Corporate America. It's something I dealt with so much. Let's make sure the folks understand what you have in this book for them.
Yeah, first off, I brought a copy for you guys. So this is the book that you guys can keep and share with the community. This book is about one of my stories of basically a takedown of myself in corporate America. And so I use this story to teach people and tell people what's really going on inside of corporate America, why this is not just a hiring diversity issue. This is a massive ecosystem issue, and I'm revealing what that ecosystem looks like, and then I'm helping my Black readers particularly to learn this system that's in place that is oppressing us and equipping them with language and information that they need to have to empower them to ask for more. So the whole notion of generational wealth and the things that our community suffers from is what I'm revealing. I'm exposing that in the book, and I'm calling for basically a revolution of change inside of corporate America.
Wow. And, you know, Omari kind of alluded to it earlier, but just a lot of your experience in like HR, I want to kind of dive into that because I think, you know, it's so much of what we experience as an employee, but also too, you see the back end of all of that. You kind of pull the curtain back a little bit. Tell us more about your experience in that regard.
You know, I spent 3 decades, so I say I'm older than I look. I spent 3 decades in corporate America as an HR person. The last many of those years, I was an executive level, and so I sat at the table with decision makers on how we made decisions about our business. Many Black people, particularly Black women, are working in the back office type of jobs, so people like me, HR, finance, marketing. That is not necessarily where the money is to be made there. The money is being made on the profit and loss side of the business, and it is difficult, almost impossible for Black people, Black women to get into that space. The other thing I saw repeatedly, you know, I was responsible to do succession planning, so planning for the next leaders. It was rare that I saw we would put Black people on the list, but I honestly can't tell you a time in 30 years that I saw one of those succession plans actually promote a Black person from these plans into leadership. We are not viewed by corporate America as leaders. I don't care what they say, they are not, their actions are not matching their words. And so those are the type of things I'm talking about. I'm talking about pay. I'm talking about pay in a huge way because, as you I'm sure know and our community knows, Black people, Black women are being paid 63 cents on the dollar to the white male, and we are being exploited, particularly by white women in these organizations. And so one of the things I call for is a cleaning out of middle management, because that's where, to give it a relevant headline for this week, the Rachel Nichols of the world exist in middle management, and that is what is keeping us from rising.
You know, I mean, so much of what you're talking about really strikes me because I found myself beating my head against a wall, trying to provide and showcase my value in a way that would be accepted, appreciated, acknowledged, right, in a corporate space. And I remember being at a startup, and I literally created 3 jobs for this startup, right? I was doing them all myself. And then when I moved departments, they had to hire 3 people to do the work that I was doing myself. And then I built up an entire department, and what they said was, great job, but did they actually understand the value of what I was bringing in terms of my personality, my lived experience, my skill set for building people up? And I would be like, how is it that so many of my peers can see this, but those that matter in terms of really elevating me in that succession plan that you talk about, that was not happening. So you're saying this is really a design of the system. It isn't something that I was just experiencing as a single Trayana Black woman out there trying to make it.
Trey, no, first off, let me acknowledge that I know that your battle was way more difficult than my battle, simply because we are 2 different shades of black. So let's start there. The fact that you're darker skinned than me, I know what you faced. I saw it, I witnessed it. I dealt with it to a different degree. I was considered acceptable as long as I behaved with the whites. Black people who go in, we do work like dogs. We outwork all of our peers. We're accustomed to that. But we're expected to do that while the people, I call them the mediocre. And let me just be clear, the white men in power, in charge, they're not as smart as they think they are. They are just there because they have the benefit of the boys club. I call it the GOB. In my book, I actually have chapter 2 about the 10 commandments of the good old boys and what is happening with pleasing them, and then the white women that uphold them. So I've coached, I could talk to many black women who come out of these major companies, and they are struggling with the exact issue that you talk about. And I feel at this point like I don't have advice anymore but to leave, because I don't see the authenticity from these companies around really making a difference with black people. They will post things on their website. They will send us all an email after George Floyd died, but then there's crickets for the following year about their standing behind social justice and making sure that brown and black lives matter in these organizations.
Yeah, you know, when we talk about performative action, I found so much of that happening, and it's really what you're describing there in terms of, you know, we have to say something, so let's say something. But is it really at our core values? Is it really a principle that we're bringing into our employment environment, our corporate environment? Are we changing the way that we do business to really acknowledge the wealth and breadth and brilliance, really, of what we have in our staff? I think that what you're describing is so key, and so many of us, I mean, we were just talking about it in the previous segment, how, you know, look, you can go to a white-led educational institution and be doing exactly what you're talking about, Cindi, working 3 times as hard as any student around you, just trying to make sure that they understand that you deserve to be there. And then you take that same experience from your college years and you merge it into corporate America, because that's what you feel like you have to do. How do we break the monotony in terms of even us identifying that we are valued, that we do have so much brilliance that we can bring to these spaces? How do we begin to break that ideology in the black community?
That's a great, loaded, heavy question. What you're referencing with Nicole back at University of North Carolina, what she stood for was something. She stood for something when she made a decision to walk away, because it only took one white guy to sit at a table and go, you know, I don't know about that subtle sabotage. That sabotaging is happening 24/7. And so the systems that they put in place, the 10-year system, Cornell West faced it too, right? The systems that they put in place are not designed for us to access it. And when we have the audacity to expect to have the same thing, look at what begins to unravel. And they look for things that is wrong with us to tear us down and tear us apart and then sabotage us behind the scene. When you read some of the things in my book, how I talk about the actual HR network and the behind the scenes work that goes on to do the digging to find out something about people and then use that against people, that system is what I aim to destroy. I'm just done with it. You're asking the right questions about we can't prevail while the culture is pervasive with the Rachel Nichols of the world who appear to be woke, white, progressive, I believe in diversity, those are all the things that they will say. But then they think the mic is off and they're saying to the other person, I don't know about Cindi. Cindy's she's too outspoken. She's, all the things that are. And so it's A, B, C, and D. It's predictable behavior. I've seen it my entire career.
Wow. I mean, just kudos to you for having the foresight to really put this out there for all of us to begin to understand. I think that, so many people understand it from a lived experience perspective, but not really from how it's being done, in this systemic way. I mean, we talk about this all the time, and I use this quote often in community because when I think about what we did to get to where we are now, right, as a Black community, as Black people, and I think about the end of Martin Luther King's life, really, and how his message began to change and merge. And one of the things that always strikes me is when he said, I feel I've led my people into a burning bush. And I realized that that's such a loaded quote there, because here we were, begging, again, almost begging and pleading to be equal to a certain degree. And where has that gotten us to this day? I think that what you're describing in terms of what's happening in corporate America is a lot of what the foundation of America was. It just merged into the corporate sector. That's what built the corporate sector. And we have to kind of wake up to that realism in terms of identifying when we are a part of that system, what is it that we're going to do now to start really figuring out how to stand up like you did?
Corporate America is a microcosm of America. You're literally walking into the microcosm when you go in. And there's not enough of us inside at influential levels to be able to move this mountain, because we are hired as tokens to meet their diversity quota so that the white men can get their huge bonuses every year, while the Black and brown people are marginalized and kept down low. Now, there are people who rise. I don't want to say that people don't, but it is very, very, what is the term? The air at the thinnest top. And so it is very difficult to rise above those middle management ranks because of the toxicity and the BS that we have to tolerate, and the people trying to claw us down as we're climbing. And so you're right. I mean, I'm revealing it in my book, what's going on. In good conscience, I can't refer people into some of these organizations. I'm watching some of them are trying, but I can't send good people in there, and certainly not my son and our kids and this next generation of leaders. We cannot subject them to that kind of abuse anymore. Wow. It is an abusive, toxic environment for brown and Black people to be in.
When we talk about this, I mean, we think about in community treating the whole person. And so much of what I'm hearing you say, that's resonating with me right now, because the truth of the matter is that tokenism is real. I see it in the nonprofit industrial complex. We talk about how there's people that really want to sell our struggle without being a part of the struggle, right? And we talk
Don't
about,
get me started, Trey.
we talk about that all the time. So I think about so much of what you're describing in corporate America is also felt in all of these different sectors, whether it's nonprofit, whether it's education. We're talking about the fact that there's a real ideology that has been permeated through so many different systems.
Yep.
And I think it's experienced, particularly for Black people, in a very unique way. You're describing it in corporate America, but even as you're talking, I'm thinking about, white-led organizations that got our Black babies all in their flyers.
That's in my book.
Yeah, see, that right there, that's what I'm saying, is that it expands beyond. And I love that you're doing that. How do you move all of your knowledge into how you're doing motivational speaking and into your radio show?
It's just been an evolvement for me, Trey. I call it a transfiguration. So when you start to become a deeper being and you start to care about things more than the worship of money, I've become better by doing that and focusing on where these issues lie. Because as you just said, I actually had a white nonprofit CEO on my show, and I asked the question, if the title CEO wasn't behind your name, would you still be in that nonprofit? And there was a pause, because the white women, the white people want all the power. Are their hearts in the issues? Maybe. Are they willing to relinquish it and let a Black woman lead? Have you ever asked a white woman to step aside and let a Black woman come forward and watch the reaction on their faces? This is the issue. And so they feel very entitled to have all the money, all the jobs, and put us at the bottom, and then we do all the work to make them shine, and then our bonuses or our pay does not reflect our contributions. That is the reckoning that we are having in this country right now. That is the reckoning I am calling for, because you can't have our money if you won't have us. Period.
Nothing about us without us is what we're starting to say, right? And yes. I'm getting a little bit perplexed here, because I just love what you're saying, and I think it takes so many more of us that have the insight and really that have been there and struggling in that regard too, because it takes a toll on you as a person when you really identify what is going on and how your position is a part of this. And I think that so many more people need to be able, just like you have done, just like others are starting to really do, to say, you know what, no, this is too much, and it's not about my retirement, and it's not about that. We have to start taking a stand. And I also think that this is why when we talk about investing in Black businesses and us creating our own to a certain degree, one of my eldest mentors always says that, there was a moment in time when Black brilliance thrived the most, and it was before we integrated, right? So when I think about the Dr. King quote, and I think about us just constantly trying to prove to everybody that we're worthy, we think about all of these movements, right? Civil rights, they're just asking for people to be civil with them. And now Black Lives Matter, we're just asking that you recognize that our lives matter. These are not even prominent statements. They're very, very subtle, just saying, hey, recognize us, acknowledge us. I love what you're doing and what you're putting in your book. What are some of the takeaways before we let you go? Because I could talk to you forever, Cindi. I mean, this is beautiful, and what you're doing is very, very inspiring. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for stepping out and stepping up to give us all a leg up into how all of this stuff is working, because it isn't something that we're just dealing with in a silo. It's not about our individual experience. It really is designed to be this way. Yes. What is one of the biggest things you really want people to take away from the book?
I want people to know that, particularly in the pay area. So I describe and reveal what the pay structures actually look like. Now, what's different, what people have called for, is pay transparency, and the response to that has been just to share the level, the range of the job. That's not where the wealth is. I'm teaching them that there is an actual structure in place, and you need to understand where your level is relative in the structure and relative to where equity is given in these roles, because that's where the earning power is. And I explain how stock works, restricted stock, like that's where our lives can change, and that's what they're keeping us away from. That's one major takeaway. The second is, I would say, just in my personal story, when you read what transpired there to get to be publicly fired the way that I was, and the fact that I was told I sued and I won in this lawsuit. I fought like a dog with a prominent civil rights attorney, Judith Longquist, here in Seattle. I fought to get back what they took from me, that they were giving to all the white people, including the white woman who was having this affair and creating all the ruckus in the business. She was written a check to go away and retire quickly with her now new husband, while the black woman who's here trying to do the right thing is being tore down by her, no less, for trying to protect her from the good old boys. And so when you see this toxic system that's at play, and how it doesn't matter how much good you do for them as a black woman, at the end of the day, the feeble, white woman who says, but, Cindi was blah, 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 blah. That's all it takes for them to tear our careers apart. And so I'm showing that because I believe that the executive suite needs to begin to recognize what is really at play here, instead of taking their word for it about my character or my qualifications or my this or my that, and start looking back at who's creating these problems in the business and who are the people. I call for them to go to every black person and ask, who are the racists in these organizations? Because we all know, we all have to live around these folks day in and day out, and that is where the reckoning starts. And if they want to promote diversity in their business, that's where you start. Don't hire us in, put this burden on our backs, bring one black person in, and then we've got to tolerate all this toxicity around us, and we're expected to thrive, and then we're not given any grace. Sha'Carri Richardson, you're stressed, you have all these mental health, we're not given grace for any of it. And so that is the takeaway for the executives. And then for my black readers, I'm teaching them how to go after the actual where the money is, and at least start asking the right questions.
Cindi, I oh my gosh. I mean, you're a gem. You are a straight gem. I mean, honestly, so many of our people need to hear this message, and I can't wait for our crew to clip this out and just give people these gems, because I think that, we need more and more examples of what it looks like to do the right thing, even when it's uncomfortable for us, even though you had to go through that lawsuit and fight like a dog and fight tooth and nail to get what you were owed. Yep. I think that more and more people who see that, wait a minute, man, I don't have to endure this on my own. I can do something about this. And my biggest mantra here on the Morning Update Show and everywhere is for people to see themselves as a part of the solution. And you have done just that. And before I let you go for real, how can you encourage others to do what you have done for other people that are just like you, that are in these corporate structures, that are dealing with all of this stuff? What is your final message to them in terms of maybe following your lead here?
Yeah, boy. On one hand, I want to say to them to stand up and fight. I would say on the other hand, that was a battle that not many people are equipped to handle. That was a no-joke time in my life, and they expected me to go away. I do believe every black person should be speaking up. This is the time now to make a difference. You have to recognize that when you do speak up, there's going to be backlash, whether it's direct to you or subtle behind you. And you have to prepare yourself for that. And you also have to mentally prepare for an exit, because once you speak up, they come after you. And so, but we have to do this, Trey. We can't continue to tolerate this abuse. We can't continue to let white wealth be built on our backs, and we are not getting an equitable split on the profitability of these companies. We deserve to have that. We work for that. We are not marginalized. We are not dumber. Black women are the most highest rate of higher education right now coming out of the academia world, and yet we are not the highest. The diversity hires are the white women. They're using gender as a way of promoting diversity and not us. And so You know, I'm on my own. I'm doing like you. I'm on air every week talking about these issues, helping black women get elected into office, putting money behind campaigns of progressive black people who will force the hands of these corporations if they don't change willingly.
I'm so inspired. I'm so inspired.
Just a fighter, Trey, right? I'm just a fighter.
Yeah. Just let the folks know how they can get in touch with your radio show and so they can learn more outside of this interview.
That's so awesome. Thank you for giving me the space to do that. My show is Heartbeat Radio. I air it live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. I'm on Rainier Avenue Radio. And so we're live on Facebook and Twitch and YouTube and all those sorts of things. So you can catch my show there. I archive my shows on my website, which is cindybright.com, Cindy with an I. And then you can just reach out to me, Cindy@cindybright.com. If people need guidance, advice, or that sort of thing, I'm always happy to respond on email to people who need some quick counsel. So.
Wow. You guys, Cindy Bright. Oh my gosh. I'm like over here beaming because y'all know I'm always saying, man, see yourself as a part of the solution. And I love sitting in this studio and getting this inspired by somebody who is doing everything they possibly can to make sure that we are engaged, informed, and educated about how to see ourselves as part of the solution. I can't thank you enough, Miss Cindy Bright, for being here with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate this.
Absolutely.
Love to you guys here.
Absolutely. Well, you guys know I got to bring Big O back in here. Our black woman magic has completely like overwhelmed you guys should feel this energy in this studio right now. But we're going to take a short break, and coming up after the break is me and Big O ending this show. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media. Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Update Show. I'm your co-host, Trey Holiday. And joining me back in the studio is my guy, Big O. Sorry, Big O. We went long on that one, man. That was, I mean, come on, man. Cindy was everything.
Yeah, no, it's all good. We'll move what was left in today's show onto tomorrow. I think that you had a great segment there.
Yeah, you know, and just so y'all know, here it is right here. You know, The Color of Courage, Crushing Racism in Corporate America, right here by Cindy Bright. And you guys can look this up so you can find out how to purchase this book, how to be inspired as I was today. I can't wait to dive into the pages of this book, honestly, because so much of what Christy was saying and sharing there is what we talk about here all the time, that it really takes so much courage to be the example that we need right now to start changing so much of the ideology that permeates all of our lived experience in the Black community. I gotta say, it was beautiful to be able to touch base with her like that. I was just like, wow. I was so inspired.
We noticed.
Yeah.
All right, we're up at the top of the hour. Got a few things here. This is the Institute for African-Centered Thinking. We want to bring this up. They have a brunch that's going on. And there it is, Ancestral Healing Facilitator. Rico Bembry is going to be there. That's this Saturday. You can look up IACT in Eventbrite, IACT, to be able to get tickets for that. Also, tonight at 7 o'clock, it's Clapback Culture. Mike Davis of the South Seattle Emerald and our very own Julia Jesse right here at Converge Media. That's at 7 o'clock across all platforms. And then 2 o'clock today, we're doing a live show as the OPA releases their findings about the Seattle police officers that were in Washington, D.C. on July 6th. And so we'll be here live with Kevin Schofield. And also Director Meyerberg has just confirmed. So Director Meyerberg will be joining us in the 2 o'clock hour today live right here.
Wow.
So you guys, if this is a topic of interest to you, make sure and check in at 2 o'clock wherever you're watching the Morning Update show. Before we get out of here, Trey Holiday, any last words?
Man, you guys can clearly see I was so inspired today by Cindi. I love hearing about how people are seeing themselves as a part of the solution. It takes all of us to start permeating our brilliance into this system and changing it for the better, transforming it, and really creating sustainable change as Cindi is doing. Please find a way to see yourself as part of the solution.
All right, good stuff. We got a full day ahead of us, so we're going to get out of here. But as usual, want to remind everybody to go forward in your purpose, go forward in your humanity. And until tomorrow at 11 a.m. from Pier 62 on the waterfront, peace.
Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun.